I thought I had the perfect life, a beautiful wife, a nice home, and everything seemed to be going just right. But little did I know, my world was about to come crashing down. One night, I discovered something I could never have expected. My wife wasn't just cheating on me with one person, but with another woman. This is the story of betrayal, heartbreak, and the painful journey of uncovering the truth. At first, everything seemed perfect. My wife and I were living what I thought was the dream life. We had a nice house, a steady job, and a happy family. She was everything I could have wanted, smart, beautiful, and loving. I didn't question anything, assuming the stability we had would last forever. I was comfortable in the routine, convinced that nothing could ever break the harmony we had built. But there were small signs, little things I brushed off at first, thinking I was just overthinking. There were late nights out with friends that seemed a bit more frequent than usual. She'd often leave for hours, and I'd reassure myself that it was nothing. But then I noticed the texts. Whenever I walked into the room, she'd quickly delete them, her hand moving with a subtle speed I couldn't ignore. It wasn't just the texts, it was the shift in her behavior. She was a little more distant, less affectionate. We didn't talk as much, and the moments of connection we used to share felt strained. At first, I told myself it was nothing. Maybe she was just busy or stressed with work. But the unease lingered, gnawing at me. I didn't know what was happening, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. I started questioning everything, but every time I tried to confront her, she reassured me I was just being paranoid. I wanted to believe her, but the doubts continued to grow. Then one night, the truth finally surfaced in a way I never could have prepared for. It was everything I had feared and more, an unspoken betrayal that shattered the illusion of our perfect life. The lies, the secrets, and the hidden parts of her I'd never known suddenly became impossible to ignore. I felt my world unravel as the truth hit me with a force I couldn't escape. What I thought was love turned out to be something else entirely. And in that moment, I realized I was standing at the edge of everything I once believed in. It wasn't until one night when I came home early from work that my suspicions turned into something I couldn't ignore. I had no intention of snooping, but as I walked into the living room, I caught a glimpse of her phone. Just for a second. That fleeting moment was enough to see a conversation that immediately didn't sit right. She was texting someone, but it wasn't just any casual chat. The messages were flirtatious and intimate, things I never thought I'd see from her. I froze for a moment, not sure if what I had just seen was real. I tried to brush it off, telling myself I must have misinterpreted it, but my gut told me something wasn't right. I tried to shake the feeling, but the more I thought about it, the more the pieces started to fit together. The late nights out, the secretive behavior, the shift in her tone, it all clicked at that moment. My wife, the woman I had trusted, was involved with someone else. But it wasn't just anyone. She was texting another woman. It was something I never expected, something I couldn't even wrap my head around. The betrayal stung, but what hurt even more was how everything I thought I knew about our life together was now shattered. In that brief instant, my entire world flipped upside down. The woman I had married, the woman I had built a life with, was hiding a secret that would change everything. I waited for the right moment to confront her, knowing I needed to hear the truth, no matter how painful it would be. When I finally did, the reaction was not what I expected. Instead of the honesty I was hoping for, I was met with defensiveness and guilt all rolled into one. She denied everything at first, but as I looked into her eyes, I could see the truth there. It was in her expression, in the way her gaze avoided mine. I pressed her, refusing to let it go, and slowly the truth began to spill out, piece by piece. She admitted to having an affair, but it wasn't just with one person. It was with another woman. They had been seeing each other for months, sharing something I could never have imagined. The more she explained, the more I felt my world crumble. She told me how she had become emotionally and physically involved with this woman, how the excitement and passion had drawn her in. I couldn't breathe. Everything I had believed about my wife, everything I had trusted, was suddenly a lie. The life we had built, the love I had thought was real, had been overshadowed by betrayal. I felt a crushing weight on my chest, unable to grasp how this had happened or why she chose to keep it hidden for so long. It was a truth I didn't want to face, but there it was, undeniable and painful. Have you ever been blindsided by betrayal in a relationship? Maybe you found out something that changed everything for you. Share your story in the comments. Let's talk about the moments when we had to face the truth and how we picked up the pieces afterward. The revelation was more than just the affair. It was the painful realization that she had been living a double life. She hadn't just been hiding a physical affair. She had been emotionally invested in this woman, sharing parts of herself with her that she had never shared with me. They weren't just meeting up for casual encounters. They had been building a bond, a connection that ran deeper than anything I could have imagined. And all of it had been happening right under my nose, without my knowledge. The betrayal hit me harder than I ever thought possible. The worst part wasn't just the affair itself, but the fact that she had been emotionally distant from me for so long while building something with her that I had never been a part of. It felt like a gut punch, knowing that while I thought we were working through our problems, she was already lost to someone else, someone who had taken my place in ways I couldn't even comprehend. The more she spoke, the more I realized how little I had truly known about her, about what had been going on behind closed doors. It was as if everything I had believed about our relationship, the trust I had placed in her, had been shattered in an instant. The worst part was the sting of knowing I had been completely unaware of her feelings, of the secret life she had been living without me. After the confrontation, everything changed. The trust we had built over the years was gone, shattered beyond repair. She tried to justify her actions, telling me she was confused, searching for something she felt was missing at home. She spoke of how she had been emotionally distant, claiming she was looking for fulfillment in a place where I couldn't give it. But no explanation, no words, could fix what had been broken between us. I was torn, caught in a storm of anger, hurt, and disbelief. The love I thought we shared suddenly felt like a lie, and I couldn't shake the image of her betrayal from my mind. How could I ever look at her the same way again? How could I trust her after everything that had happened? She was no longer the person I thought she was, and I wasn't sure how to process the person standing before me. I had to make a decision. Was I willing to try to work through the pain and rebuild what we had, or was this the end of our marriage? The thought of starting over, of healing from the damage she caused, seemed impossible. I didn't know if I could ever forgive her, or if I even wanted to, but I knew I couldn't move forward without making a choice. The future, uncertain as it was, depended on the decision I made now. I chose to walk away. I couldn't live in a lie anymore. It wasn't an easy decision. My love for her still lingered, and part of me wanted to fix things, to somehow undo the betrayal. But deep down, I knew I deserved more than the dishonesty and deception she had given me. The pain of losing her was excruciating, but it paled in comparison to the agony of knowing the truth of what she had done. I couldn't stay in a relationship built on lies. Over time, I healed. I learned to trust myself again, realizing that my worth wasn't tied to someone who couldn't honor the love we once shared. Her actions, as painful as they were, became a crucial lesson in self-respect and the importance of honesty in relationships. I began to see that my happiness and self-worth weren't dependent on someone else's choices or betrayals. I came to understand that I didn't have to settle for less than I deserved. The pain of the betrayal had forced me to reevaluate what I truly wanted in life and in a partner. I realized I was capable of love, trust, and happiness without compromising my integrity. What I needed was someone who would value me for who I am, someone who could offer truth and respect in return. And in that realization, I finally let go of the past, choosing to move forward with a newfound strength and clarity. It wasn't easy, but I knew it was the right path. The lessons I'd learned from the heartbreak shaped the future I was now ready to embrace. As I moved on, I carried those lessons with me. I no longer feared opening my heart, but this time, I made sure it was to someone who would value the truth. I knew I would find someone who would respect me and who would offer love without deception, and I was ready to build something real. The past, painful as it was, became a part of my story, not the end of it. The pain of discovering my wife's affair was crushing, but it taught me one important thing. I deserve honesty and respect. Moving on wasn't easy, but it was necessary. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've ever been betrayed, remember, you're stronger than you think and you can rebuild your life.